Thank you for joining us here at Lowry Sports Rhetoric. Today we're going to be discussing the NCAA change of UCLA and USC going to the Big Ten. Damon?
Yeah, it's a big news. Obviously, as an IU fan, the Big Ten has been the conference that I have followed closely my whole life, pretty much. And to get, this is football. This is about the Big Ten trying to keep pace with the SEC after the SEC added Oklahoma and Texas. That's what this is about. Anybody that says differently is wrong. That's what it all comes down to. USC and UCLA. Well, it's both, really, because UCLA's basketball, USC's football tradition, it brings tradition to both sports. The Big Ten wants to be dominant in both sports, and that's what this is about. But the trickle-down effect, which really started last year with Oklahoma and Texas joining the SEC, this is part of the next domino to fall, and there will be more dominoes to fall. As I was telling you, the big rumors out there are that Oregon and Washington are interested in following USC and UCLA. The Pac-12 has already issued a statement that they will be looking to expand, possibly talking to Big 12 and ACC teams, maybe other teams like Boise State. They've said they're not limited in who they're going to look at. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, it's football related. So the talk is now like everybody feels like the Big Ten and the SEC are heading down this road of having two super conferences, and then it'll be like, the AFC and the NFC and the NFL. Like that's where we're heading. I'm not sure that that's the case, but that's what the talk is. So, what are your thoughts on any of that?
Yeah, interesting. Well, I don't know. It's hard. For a long time, like I loved following the Pac-12. I mean, that's who I watch. Obviously, at Pac-12, and I had fun watching Arizona and Arizona State, and Cal's had some really good teams and things like that. Stanford at one point in time when they had Andrew Luck, those kind of things, man. A lot of fun watching in the Pac-12. But recently, man, that's really gone away. I mean, it's been so trash football. Utah's good. I love watching Utah play, and it's great. I feel like the Ducks, even when they have good years, they don't get a lot of the credit that they deserve, and then sometimes you crap the bed on with the credit that you're given too, unfortunately. So, but I would love to see them compete against better competition, because it seems like we never really get that opportunity to be higher ranked and go into the big game, simply because of the fact that we play in the Pac-12. Like I said, it's sad to see that kind of play drop off lately. It hasn't been fun to watch a lot of these teams recently, not for a while. So I would be very supportive of them going to the Big Ten. I'm not actually that big of a fan of all those kind of things, super conferences and stuff. I've always hated the way that it works with like the SEC always gets this credit, basically, no matter what. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt over these other teams, even if they have better records, those kind of things. I mean, I've never been a big fan of that. It seems like that's where we're headed, is to a more of that, and that kind of irritates me a little bit. But so I guess for me, if it's playing out the way that it's playing out, you got USC and Cal. UCLA, sorry, going over there. Then yeah, I would like to see. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing us go over there too as well. And I actually kind of had hope that we would go to the Big Ten anyways, as I was watching these stuff play out. If I was going to go somewhere, that's where I would like to go.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then so this is what I think is, everybody says the two power conferences. I think it will probably end up being as three. Honestly, I think you're going to see three conferences, maybe 24 teams each. That those three figure out a playoff amongst themselves, and then the winner of those three and one wild card team will be your four that play for the title. This is how they can avoid expanding the playoff, is by doing this. But what I think you're going to end up seeing, though, is those non-conference games are going to go away. There will not be, Alabama, Oregon again. That ain't going to happen. It's going to be all in conference, and then whoever survives the conference. I don't think you're going to see those big non-conference games anymore. That's what I think is going to be the unfortunate fallout. But yeah, I think you're going to continue to see expansion in whether between the ACC, the Big 12, and the Pac-12. One of those three has to step up and say, we're going to be the third big conference. and then it'll just get split up. And unfortunately, probably that whichever one of those three does it, they're going to get the also-rans because the SEC and the Big 12 are going to get the ones that they want. I mean, the SEC and the Big 10 are going to get the ones they want. And whether that's the Big 10 adding, it's been long rumored that the Big 10 would love to add North Carolina and Duke for basketball reasons. So, to get to 24, I think they probably would continue to try to add North Carolina and Duke. They will continue to try to get Notre Dame on board, just because that's always been a jewel in the crown that the Big Ten would like to have. So,
I mean, I would like to see that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, so I've always wanted to see Notre Dame come over there.
Yeah. So if you add Notre Dame, you had you guys and Washington, UCLA, and then North Carolina and Duke. I think that takes us to like 23 or 21. So a few more strategic moves. Then the SEC will add.
And that obviously means that if we did that, then the Ducks would be playing Notre Dame at home sometimes, right? So
yeah,
I could go there to watch a game. That would make me super excited. Yeah. So therefore, I just changed my mind. I'm wholeheartedly in on this whole thing. If they can get Notre Dame.
See, this is for me selfishly. Now that we're in Oklahoma, I want to see like Oklahoma State and TCU added, so that hopefully I can watch an IU game in Dallas or Stillwater. Yeah, like those are the two that I would like to see us poach personally over Oregon and Washington. For me personally, but Oregon and Washington would be fun too. I mean, I think that those are good teams, but it'll be interesting. No matter what you say, this is big. This will make changes, and more are coming. And so it's huge news for any college sport fan, whether it's basketball, football. This will have some serious ramifications on both sports. And so that's why we wanted to just kind of weigh in and give you our thoughts. Anything else to add?
I mean, like I said, I do feel like I feel like it would benefit us to go to a different conference just because of the fact that we definitely will get looked at a lot better and given a lot of credit if we go into the Big Ten and we're winning against Big Ten teams. Though we will probably have to, both teams going to have to change some of the philosophies of the way they build their team because.
Well, I think it's interesting, right? Because so you guys got a guy, your new head coach is more defense and.
That's true.
And ground and pound oriented.
That's true.
So you actually have a head coach that probably fits the Big Ten better than the Pac-12.
Yeah.
I don't know about USC and UCLA's, like especially Chip Kelly. I don't see Chip Kelly working in the Big Ten, his offense, but I guess we'll see.
I mean, I don't think it's really working in the Pac-12 either.
Yeah, I guess not. Why am I blanking on who USC just hired as their head coach?
Lincoln Riley?
Oh, geez, that's right.
The most hated man in the state you live in at the moment?
Oh, how did I forget that? Man, how did I forget that?
I have no idea.
That tells you how I just push college football away once it's done and just focus on it later. I haven't gotten into that. So that's interesting too, Lincoln Riley in the Big Ten. That'll be interesting. And then from I just have to comment on the basketball side of it too, because we mostly talked about football. Basketball side of it is, as an IU fan, one, you want the Big Ten to be the number one basketball conference. Adding UCLA and USC to it is interesting. Now, I know you don't know a lot of the nuances about this, but college basketball in the Big Ten has been called tackle basketball in the Big Ten for a long time by IU sports fans, led by Purdue, Michigan State, Wisconsin, mostly those three. And they have the most tenured coaches. The referees ref the game so that they can tackle basketball exists. I personally think it's what's held the Big Ten back in the last 15 years from winning titles and going to Final Fours. And I think there's a push amongst some of the newer coaches in the league to try to open that up and get rid of that style. Adding UCLA and USC should help that, although I don't know, Mick Cronin probably fits, as the UCLA's head coach, probably fits better in the Big Ten and that tackle basketball style than he did in the Pac-12. But Andy Uffeld at USC, he's an up and down guy. So that adds one more up and down, open style of coaching to the league, and hopefully we start to figure out how to get. I mean, I'd love to add Oregon and Washington from that standpoint, because Oregon's coach is another one that's like a real up and down style, and Dana Altman has enough of a name in the sport that his opinion will weigh in. So I would love to see. This is my hope, is that this expansion helps change the tackle basketball of the Big Ten's basketball side. And UCLA, that history, to add that to the history of the teams in the Big Ten is that's quite interesting. It gives us another traditional blue blood in the conference. So be interesting to see how they do West and East and divisions and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think on the one hand, it's like you said, I'm not sure how I feel about these huge conferences. But if there's going to be huge conferences, then you want your conference to have the good teams.
That's right.
And these are two good teams for both basketball and football to add to the mix. And so I guess from that standpoint, it's good news for Big Ten.
I really do think it makes a lot of sense too. All the teams involved in that, I think that they do make a lot of sense to go that route.
Yeah. So we'll see if Washington and Oregon follow suit. That's the rumor. I'm sure we'll do another reaction video if that happens, because you'll definitely have some things to say for sure then. But for now, it's a wait and see. But I think it's a seismic change that's just the next domino to fall after last year's big news of Texas and Oklahoma.
Sure.
Kind of inevitable, and there'll be more coming. So,
sure. All right. Well, thank you for giving us a watch. If you got anything out of this content, give us a like, give us a subscribe.
Feel free to comment. Tell us what you think about this, and what maybe speculating on whether teams might be a good fit in the Big Ten, or what you think the Pac-12 might be smart to do. We'd be curious to hear your thoughts.
Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.